In today's video, we'll be discussing the United Nations. Now we'll discuss the United Nations Charter. The UN Charter is a treaty that outlines the goals and functions of the United Nations. It was signed by member states and serves as the UN's constituting agreement. The main purpose of the UN, as stated in Article 1, is to maintain international peace and security, develop friendly relations between nations, achieve international cooperation in solving global issues, and promote respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. The signatories of the UN Charter agreed to several key principles, including the sovereign equality of all members, settling international disputes through peaceful means, refraining from the use of force against other states, and ensuring that the UN does not interfere in matters within the domestic jurisdiction of any state. The United Nations is made up of 6 major organs, including the Security Council, General Assembly, Economic and Social Council, Secretariat, International Court of Justice, and Trusteeship Council. Each of these organs has a specific role to play in the functioning of the UN. The Security Council is often referred to as the realist heart of an organization with a liberal mission, and it is one of the key features of the UN. The Security Council was created to help manage global problems and ensure international peace and security. It is comprised of 5 permanent members: the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Russia, and China, who were selected based on their political and economic power after World War II. These 5 countries have the right to veto any proposed resolution, which gives them more power than any other members. The Security Council is also joined by 10 non-permanent members, who rotate every 2 years and are chosen along geographical lines. The Security Council has the power to meet at any time, and each member always has a representative at UN headquarters. When a complaint about a threat to peace is brought before the Security Council, it can take a number of steps to address the issue. This can include bringing the parties together, proposing principles for dispute resolution, or mediating the dispute itself. The Security Council can also request that the Secretary General try to help the parties reach a peaceful agreement. In addition to playing an advisory role, the Security Council also has the power to enforce peace through Chapter 7. This chapter allows the Security Council to use coercive power to enforce peace, including economic sanctions and interrupting transportation and communication linkages. If these actions don't work, the Security Council can also use military power to maintain or restore international peace and security. The most visible activity of the Security Council is peacekeeping. UN peacekeepers, or blue helmets, were first used in 1948 and have grown rapidly since the end of the Cold War, with over 50 new missions deployed. The General Assembly is a unique place where the world's governments come together to deliberate and express the general opinion of the world community. The General Assembly is a forum where issues related to international peace and security can be discussed. It can bring issues to the attention of the Security Council and make recommendations to UN member states and the Security Council. The GA also initiates studies that promote international cooperation, approves the UN's budget, elects the rotating members of the Security Council, and appoints the UN's Secretary General. In 1950, the GA was given a larger role in maintaining international peace and security through the resolution Uniting for Peace. This resolution allows the GA to consider an act of aggression or other breaches of the peace if the Security Council fails to act, and make direct recommendations to member states on restoring peace. This resolution was used twice in November 1956 during the Korean War and the Soviet invasion of Hungary. However, over the years, the influence of the General Assembly has declined, and it is often criticized for being overly bureaucratic and inefficient. Its culture favors consensus, which can be difficult to achieve with 193 members at the table. The former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan recognized this in his 2005 report, In Larger Freedom, and called for the General Assembly to narrow its agenda and procedures to focus on the major substantive issues of the day. The Economic and Social Council, or ECOSOC, was established by the UN Charter to focus on a range of international issues beyond security, such as economic, social, cultural, educational, health, and human rights matters. It has the power to make recommendations to the General Assembly, UN specialized agencies, and individual member states, and to organize international conferences and draft conventions. ECOSOC consists of 54 member states elected by the General Assembly for overlapping 3-year terms, divided among different regions. The Council holds its main session for 4 weeks in July, alternating between Geneva and New York. As a deliberative forum, ECOSOC provides a platform for discussion, research, and engagement with actors such as civil society and academics. However, it has a reputation for lacking a clear public profile and being perceived as irrelevant. This might be due to its behind-the-scenes functions, such as negotiating agreements for non-governmental organizations to interact with the UN. The Secretariat is the backbone of the UN, consisting of over 43,000 international civil servants from 186 different countries. These individuals are responsible for administering peacekeeping operations, conducting studies, translating documents, organizing conferences, and working with the international media, among many other things. The staff takes an oath of not seeking or receiving instructions from any government or authority outside the UN, ensuring that they remain neutral and impartial in the performance of their duties. Heading the Secretariat is the UN Secretary-General, the organization's chief administrative officer. The Secretary-General is responsible for running the UN, carrying out functions entrusted to him by various bodies, and bringing to the attention of the Security Council any matter that may threaten international peace and security. Despite the simple definition of the SG's role, it is widely agreed that the position is complex and demanding, with high international expectations. The advance of the Cold War brought new challenges to the UN and forced the Secretary-General to expand his role beyond just administration to diplomacy. The end of the Cold War created new demands for the Secretary-General, including the escalation of intrastate conflict. The International Court of Justice is the main judicial body of the United Nations and is located in The Hague, Netherlands. It is the only one of the 6 main UN organs that is not located in New York City. The ICJ has 2 main functions: to resolve disputes between member states and to offer advisory opinions to the UN and its specialized agencies. It is a revolutionary idea in a world of realpolitik, where states with disputes can go to a neutral body for resolution. It is important to note that the International Court of Justice cannot try individuals and only states can bring cases to the court. The International Court of Justice has its roots in the Permanent Court of International Justice set up in 1920 under the League of Nations. It replaced it and incorporated its doctrine, procedures, and even staff, but is also different in several ways. It has equal standing to the Security Council, General Assembly, and other primary UN bodies. In making decisions, the International Court of Justice uses various sources of international law, including treaties, international custom, general legal principles, and judicial decisions or teachings of legal scholars. If parties agree, the International Court of Justice can make a decision based on what is fair and equitable rather than existing international law. Throughout most of its history, it has not been at the forefront of solving interstate disputes, as powerful states often prefer to solve their own problems and not entrust them to a neutral body. Nevertheless, the International Court of Justice caseload has increased since the end of the Cold War, but it still faces the problem of lack of compulsory jurisdiction. Its statute tries to address this issue through the optional clause, but only 72 states out of 193 UN members have accepted it so far. However, states have indirectly agreed to its jurisdiction when they sign treaties containing clauses to submit disputes to the court. When a case comes before the court, the state submitting the case is the applicant and the other state is the respondent. The process consists of a written stage and an oral stage, and the court's decision is binding on the parties. The Trusteeship Council was established to administer the trust territories that were placed under its care and help these territories move towards self-government or independence. These territories were mainly colonies that were detached from enemy states following World War II or held under mandate since the League of Nations era. There were a total of 11 trust territories. The Trusteeship Council completed its job in 1994 when the last trust territory, the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands, Palau, became independent. This is a rare instance of an international institution fulfilling its mission and going out of business. However, the Trusteeship Council still exists on paper. One reason is that removing it requires amending the UN Charter, which lays out the Trusteeship Council's role in Chapter 13. Amending the charter quickly gets bogged down by contentious politics, as there are many other aspects of the charter that some states would like to change, and others would like to keep the same. It's worth noting that the activities undertaken by the Trusteeship Council still exist, but not under its auspices. In conclusion, the Trusteeship Council was an important international institution that played a crucial role in the post-World War II era. Although it no longer exists in practice, its legacy lives on through the continued efforts of the UN to support territories in their journeys towards self-government and independence. The United Nations has a vast network of agencies, programs, funds, and other organizations that work on a variety of international issues, some of which predate the UN itself. Some of these organizations are well known, such as the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and the UN Environment Programme. However, others do important work but are rarely in the headlines, such as the International Maritime Organization. These organizations work on a wide range of issues, including human rights, humanitarian aid, women and children, nutrition, minorities and indigenous people, sustainable development, agriculture, and the prevention of terrorism and organized crime, among others. They carried out a variety of tasks, including bringing states together to sign treaties, monitoring compliance of treaties, providing education and aid, coordinating other states and non-state actors, developing standards, and building networks in specific issue areas. Each organization has its own history, rules, management, and activities, and can be evaluated individually. For example, there is rich literature that evaluates the UN's activities in human rights, the environment, sustainable development, and global health. So in this video, we saw that the United Nations network of organizations goes beyond its 6 main organs, it's vast and diverse, and plays a crucial role in addressing a range of international issues. Thank you for watching.